Is atheism a spectrum condition? You literally cannot get a word of sense out of an atheist. It's like arguing with a person of faith, except atheists worship matter and randomness rather than a theistic God. That's even worse than mainstream religion. Atheists use their minds to deny that minds are real. Apparently only matter is real. How can mind decide that it is not real? Can matter deny its own reality? Descartes said that he could doubt everything except the fact that he was doubting. Minds doubt. They can doubt themselves. Matter can't doubt itself. How would a rock doubt itself? Matter doesn't have the capacity to doubt itself. Mind does. Materialists use their minds to doubt the reality of their own minds that are doing this doubting. Idealists use their minds to doubt the reality of matter, which is extremely easy to doubt. Descartes certainly didn't believe in the reliability of sensory information. The senses are duped during dreaming. We imagine dream worlds that don't exist. So why should we believe that the real world exists and isn't just another dream? Prove that it isn't. Descartes imagined a malevolent demon committed to deceiving us about the true nature of reality. We don't need any such demon. Humans are more than capable of deceiving themselves about what the truth is. Immanuel Kant said that we could never know reality in itself, noumenal reality. He said that we can only know what presents itself to our minds. We can only know phenomenal reality. Kant said that we had a mental operating system that caused us to impose all sorts of mental processes on the world that didn't exist in the world. Well, how would a scientist disprove Kant? How do we know what we impose on the world thanks to the intrinsic operations of the mind, and what belongs to the world itself? Materialists claim that there is a real material world out there, out where? How can out there be proved to exist? They can literally furnish no proof. It is technically impossible for us to know anything except via our minds, which scientists claim to be illusory. Why shouldn't our minds construct everything supposedly out there? Who needs matter? It's redundant. Kant, technically, was a dualist. He believed in a real world out there, but denied that we could know what it was like. Why? Because we always approached it via our minds, and we had no idea how much we contributed to our interpretation of the world via these minds of ours. Idealists abandoned Kant's dualism of unknowable noumenal world and knowable phenomenal world existing in the mind. What was the point of referring to the noumenal world if it was unknowable? Why refer to it at all? Forget about the mind imposing content on a world separate from it. Why not conclude that the mind constructed the so-called material world entirely? That is, it was wholly mental. There was no such thing as real matter, only something that minds constructed that served the functions of matter. How do you make it possible for mind to create what looks exactly like a material world? All you need are mathematical minds equipped to do mathematics, individually and collectively. That's what ontological mathematics is all about. What does science do? It imagines a world, a material world, which can be described mathematically. It regards mathematics as an unreal, man-made abstraction. This is the central conceit of scientific materialism. But to arrive at mathematical idealism, all you have to do is invert this scheme and regard matter as an unreal man-made abstraction in mathematics as real and concrete, ontological. Mathematical minds can create mathematical worlds. We individually see this every time we dream. We create private dream worlds that seem precisely like the real world. But, if all these mathematical minds operate in conjunction, they produce what seems like an objective material world. It's not. It's never anything other than a collective, mathematical, mental world. How would a scientist be able to distinguish this ontological mathematical world made by minds from what they would interpret as a material world understandable via abstract mathematics? Where is science's proof that matter is real and mathematics unreal? Scientists have no such proof. What they have is a religious faith in matter and an equal religious faith in the unreality of mathematics. But if matter isn't real and mathematics is real, then their whole conception of reality is 100% false. Theirs is a staggering misinterpretation of reality. Where do any scientists actually address these issues? Like all religious fanatics, they ignore whatever contradicts their faith and disagrees with their core assumptions. These people are not open-minded free thinkers, that's for sure. Philosophy is the subject that requires the most open-mindedness and the highest critical thinking skills. Scientists detest and mock philosophy. It's not that they ever refute any philosophy, it's just that they ignore it. All atheists, who are invariably scientific materialists, deny free will. This is truly hilarious. To deny something is to imply that a choice exists, i.e., it would be possible not to deny it. But if there is no freedom of action, then no one has any say in what they claim about free will. If there is no free will, anyone denying that free will exists is not weighing evidence and reflecting on it and formulating arguments, and considering both sides of the story and evaluating the relative merits of the contested positions, because all of that requires freedom of action, which is exactly what free will deniers claim is impossible. By their very own logic, deniers of free will did not freely reach their conclusion. Because freedom doesn't exist. So what did come to that conclusion? Well, unfree matter and the unfree forces acting on matter did. But, in those people advocating free will, despite the absence of free will, if the atheist scientists are right, what caused them to assert the existence of free will in a reality devoid of it? Well, once again, it could only be matter and the forces acting on matter. So, now we know, as a matter of the exact logic of atheist scientists, that matter and the forces acting on matter can both deny the existence of free will and assert the existence of free will. Wow, it's amazing what matter and its forces can do. Sometimes, they make humans claim that free will exists. And sometimes they make humans claim that free will does not exist. The opposite. And even more amazingly, sometimes they make people change their minds and assert the exact reverse of what they previously said. That's science for you. All things to all men, just like. But Jesus. If there's no free will, all of us are mindless robots, with no control over our actions. Most of us intuitively know that this is absurd. Atheist scientists do not. They love the idea of being robots without free will. That's why they are spectrum people. There is something seriously wrong with them and the false doctrines of materialism that they espouse. You are mentally ill if you deny the reality and autonomy of your mind. All atheist scientists do. Ever feel like you've been swindled?